Right, in our first story, a public health expert is urging government to prioritize human roles in making technology work effectively. Professor Elisu Dabo of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology believes there is over-reliance on technology with little attention to the human factor. Professor Dabo was speaking at the Ghana Science Association's research seminar and poster presentation in Kumasi.
For the last 200 years in medical.
The seminar and poster presentation was under the theme Using Science, Technology and Innovation to Improve Quality Healthcare Delivery in Ghana. Though Professor Dabo Law's introduction of medical drones, he said it's not enough to address Ghana's healthcare delivery challenges. He believes a pilot study to assess effectiveness of drones before investing in them would have been appropriate.
When it comes to technology, we should not just look at the state of the art of the technology itself, which is the science, but there is an art to science, which is the human face to technology. And here I would like to say that oftentimes we just think that it's the diagnostics, the technologies that do the stuff for us. We should be careful not to lose the human touch. Such as in medicine, you have to listen to people, you have to examine people by touching them. Sometimes just being a good listener helps. So in reference to the drones, I was saying that let's not think that it's a panacea. The drones is just a simple technological device, which is in this case going to help deliver whatever it is, medical services, devices, whatever. I am definitely of the opinion that there are several important competing interests.
The poster presentation saw over 100 research works on display by students and lecturers. President of Kumasi branch, Dr. Nathaniel Usubwedi, says the move is meant to enhance research and forge collaboration between research institutes and universities.
So the Ghana Science Association organizes an annual conference in Kumasi for the Kumasi branch, and this is to enhance research and also to forge collaboration between researchers from the research institutes and the universities. And this year we've had a lot of participants coming from the university, various colleges, departments, and the research institutes.
Pro Vice Chancellor of KNUST, Professor Retta Akusha-Dixon, praised the occasion.
We live in a technological age, and the fact that if we refuse to embrace technology and to innovate in every endeavor of our lives, including healthcare, it would perhaps mean that we are opting for the option of probably evaporating from the surface of the earth and getting extinct, probably just like the dinosaurs did. But we won't want to do that.
Former Provost of KNUST College of Science, Professor Abuajimenye, and KNUST College of Science were honored for their contribution to the growth of the association.
Now, about 23,000 applicants are assured of places at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology next year as expansion work nears completion. The story blocks, which are with offices, are expected to augment existing facilities. Assistant Registrar at the University Relations Office, James Kwesi Obeko, is optimistic the new structures will ease congestion.
The project, which is being funded internally, comprises lecture halls, science and computer laboratories, and libraries. Beneficiary institutions include schools of veterinary medicine, allied health, social science, among others. Assistant Registrar at the University Relations Office, James Obeko, is confident free SHS products will face no infrastructure challenges.
KNUST set off to increase access into the university by expanding its infrastructure. And as you've seen from our visits, we've done a lot, and we are almost close to finalizing everything. And when all the infrastructure are set, KNUST will be in a position to admit about 23,000 more students. And thankfully, we are in talks with government. They know what we are doing, and we are dialoguing over priority projects So as and when government meets us on the way, we are likely to even do far more than 23,000. The plan is to complete all the projects before admission of the first batch of the free SHS students for the 2020-2021 academic year. So any moment before the admission begins, the projects are set to be completed. Well, definitely. I mean, once numbers go up, all allied things that need to be taken care of will be taken care of. Security, more lecturers. But for now, the focus is on infrastructure, because we know that the number of free SHS students who are likely to be admitted is quite huge. But the most important is that, fortunately for KNUST, because we had plans to increase access and therefore started infrastructure development, it means we now need not to break grounds and be in a rush to put up infrastructure for them. We are almost close to completion, so we are just looking up to government, who is in talks with us anyway, to complete the projects, and then we'll be in the position to admit about 23,000 more. What you've seen so far are basically...
Now, traders in Kumasi are protesting the amounts being proposed as rent by managers of the newly constructed KEJETIA market. The rent ranges from 1,560 cedis a year for the smallest stall to 9,600 cedis for the biggest shops. Now, the traders, however, say the rates are too high and have asked the city authorities to reduce them.
As part of measures ahead of the opening of the market, traders and other stakeholders were engaged on the allocation and prices of the various shops.
I have the special purpose vehicle to meet with the market persons on Tuesday, so to provide this information to them.
We are all natives of Kumasi. This is a government facility, so you should consider we the traders and reduce the price. But at the stakeholders meeting on Tuesday, there were divided opinions among some traders and KMA and members of the special purpose vehicle over the pricing of shops at the newly built KEJETIA Markets Limited. The least size among the shops, 2.2 meters square, goes for 7,800 cedis, and the highest ranges around 48,000 cedis over a period of 5 years. The traders complain of high prices of the shops. Nana Prempe speaks for the traders.
So far, as you can see from the demeanor of the people who are gathered here, the answers and the response that has been given to us are not satisfactory to us.
But you have been here when the meeting started. You look at the generality. About 80 to 90% of them were so happy of the rate, and they were clapping for the government and myself. So who sits somewhere and say it's so expensive?
6,000 per the table, that is for the petty traders. And look at the kind of trade that we apply in Kumasi here. And you are saying the petty trader is to pay 6,000 at an interest rate of 25% per annum. Indirectly, we are going to work for the bank, and it is not going to benefit with the traders.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Kumasi City Market Limited Board, who doubles as Mayor of Kumasi, Oses Bentry, explains management of the market has been generous to the traders.
That is why I said to human beings, we are not equal, and we don't think alike. But generally, we've been very generous to them. You talked about those selling on the tables. You go in there, we have counters, and there are some that even we have gone to the extent of providing them with differences and all.
So it is just the beginning. They've informed us, we as an executive, we are going to also sit down, look through the proposals that the Assembly have put forward before us. And we also, as we stand now, between today and tomorrow, we have to also call an emergency meeting, sit on it, deliberate, and also state our position to the government and then the Assembly as a whole.
Nana Ajeni is representative of Asantewaa Council and the vice chair of the special purpose vehicle.
It's left for them to let us do the integration. So we are meeting the leaders on Friday with the bank, and then we'll do the integration of the software. Originally, Softmasters were the guys who did the integration. So we need to get the portal to the recipient banks, and then that will just capture they get the access card and they move in. We want to, as fast as possible, fast track it because the phase 2 funding will be getting in any moment from now.
Nana Asenso Mensah reporting.
Now back here in Accra, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital is training some selected personnel on how to detect and resuscitate persons who suffer cardiac arrest. The personnel are being educated on the use of an automated external defibrillator and manual resuscitator in aiding the management of such cases. Now, as more die from cardiac arrests, Senior Specialist of Anesthesia at the hospital, Dr. Evans Atuna, wants individuals and corporate organizations to learn the CPR procedure so they can offer the necessary first aid when attacks occur. There's more in this report by Patricia Roxon Hammond.
Hey, D!
Sudden cardiac arrest is a condition in which the heart suddenly stops beating. This can happen at any time. Unfortunately, the people around at the time are often ignorant of how to do a CPR to resuscitate the victims.
Peel pads from liner. Apply pads to...
At a skills training at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, 22 medical practitioners were taken through basic and advanced cardiac life support, basic ECG, shockable rhythms and non-shockable rhythms to resuscitate persons who experience sudden cardiac arrest. Here is a demonstration.
After a number of chest compressions, he would allow the one holding their face to give the patient oxygen. So we do it at a ratio of 30 chest compressions to 2 rescue breaths. We call them rescue breath because the chest moves in while you give that breath. So you repeat this a number of times.
Senior Specialist of Anesthesia at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Dr. Evans Atitona, explains the importance of automated external defibrillators and the manual resuscitator. According to him, the AED checks and monitors heart rhythms and can send electric shocks to the heart to help it regain a normal rhythm, while the manual resuscitator uses positive pressure to inflate the lungs of an unconscious person who is not breathing in order to keep them oxygenated and alive.
Doing chest compressions to pump blood out of the heart to the rest of the body. Because if your heart stops working and you don't get blood to the rest of the body, within 5 minutes the person is dead. And after 5 minutes there is nothing that you can do. You can't revive the person again. So we have a very short period to revive the person. So it's not always that we use the defibrillator, but if you have a cardiac arrest in an adult, you need an AED, which is a defibrillator. So what it does is that sometimes your heart goes into what we call fibrillation. It means that there's abnormal movement. So the defibrillator will revert it back from that fibrillation into a normal rhythm.
Dr. Evans Atitona said it is important for everyone to know how to do a CPR to resuscitate anyone who collapses or gets a cardiac arrest.
Everyone has to learn this because who knows, it may happen in your house and there is no medical person around. So if you learn this, you can give that's what we call a bystander respondent. So the person who is standing by will respond to it. So anyone can learn how to do CPR. It's not things for only medical staff.
Knowing what to do and how to resuscitate in a choking or drowning emergency can save a life. For JoyNews, Patricia Roxon Hammond, Accra.
Now, if you travel on intra-city commercial buses, also known as trotros, you will have encountered the conductor or the mate, the driver's right-hand man. Now, to most passengers, these are either cheats or irritants, though it's been mainly male-dominated, a male-dominated role. It turns out that some females are now taking it up too. JoyNews' Philip Ankra caught up with a female conductor and filed this rather interesting report.
The quest to survive and the urge to augment the efforts by her parents to finance her education and that of her siblings have driven her into a field considered the preserve of men. Meet 17-year-old Abena, a first-year student of the Krobo Girls Senior High School, studying business. She and her boss ply the Kulebu-Mamprobi Kaneshi route. According to her, At a point during her schooling, her father fell ill and her mother lost the funds she was trading with. Life presented a big burden. The poor girl now has to find something to do to make some money for school. After some discussions with a friend, she was introduced to the job of a conductor.
Before I started schooling, I relied on my parents, but along the line, my dad lost his sight and my mom's capital was stolen. My elder brother was also struggling, so I decided to look for a job to support. After discussing with a friend, I chose this.
Pay me 40, 50.
She recounts to me how some passengers relate to her. According to her, some treat her rudely, but the warm reception of her colleague male conductors keeps her going.
Some passengers are rude, but I try to remain calm. The drivers and my colleague conductors are nice to me and I feel loved.
Almost all of them are good.
And of course, some passengers are surprised she is a conductor.
People are surprised to see a female conductor and wonder why I do this. As for the male conductors, they are amazed I school and still do this job.
If there is one thing she wishes for, this is it.
In future, I have 3 plans.
In future, I want to be a footballer, a soldier, or an accountant.
Unlike Abner's family, which allowed the young woman to tow this path, these people believe bus conducting is not a job they will allow their family member to venture into.
So, sir, would you allow your daughter to be a female conductor?
No, not at my wish at all. I wouldn't. You know, it can. If he's on vacation, either he will be doing part-time learning somewhere, you see, or to find her something to do in the house. You know, mates, being a car mate is not a female job. You see, it comprises so many things, and the risks are many.
No, because as for me right now, I'm illiterate, and then I won't just sit there for my sister to go and do a mate or something like that. Even if there is no work for my sister to do, I won't let her come and do a mate.
No, because you know there is a lot of risk in it, and you know women, mostly women, they cannot do such job. It needs energy, and women don't have such energy to do such job.
So the next time you hear a feminine voice calling out your destination, don't be surprised. Females are definitely taking up bus conducting jobs. For Joy News, Philip Ancres report.
Fascinating stuff. All right, well, that's not the only fascinating thing you're going to see on this show today, so stay exactly where you are. When we come back, we'll bring you traffic, newspaper headlines, and my goodness, those amazing miracles of football. Stay with us.